and other operations, everything that can be done to make the 9/11 truth look clownish.
I'm not going to get into the. I'm not even going to say it's 6 to 7 reactors across the country. I'm not even going to. It's bad.
I like to call it an epidemic. Over and over and over and over, it never fails, ladies and gentlemen. We're constantly put on the defensive against the federal government. Every single time. Be it the FCC coming to town and trying to shut down our local micro broadcaster. Trying to shut down our local micro broadcaster. Be it the National Highway and Traffic Safety Administration coming to town and trying to shut down and train the police officers to do blood withdrawals. Be it the BATF now coming to town and shutting us down and trying to shut down gun shows, ladies and gentlemen. We're no longer going to stand for it. We stand for the Second Amendment.
Because the whole time I was there, I had like COINTELPRO poking me and getting in my face.
Get away with your activities. You are not going to get away.
Hey, ladies, the Second and First Amendment. Get the hell out of my face.
I'm here to tell you right now that we are not your property.
You're not part of the team. I'll give you the news first on Y2K and the things I'm experiencing here in Austin, Texas. The shelves are empty of water and some gas stations are running out of fuel.
A lot of people are going to speak about the Second Amendment and what you can do in order to ensure that the Second Amendment is no longer violated here in the city of Austin. We got Alex Jones here, folks.
Here in Central Texas and in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the shortwave is basically down, ladies and gentlemen. Went off right as I went on the air. The big news on Y2K. Then we'll start going to your calls.
Alex, we can't hear Joy! We can't hear! Please! Alex!
We can't hear John.
We can't hear! Please! Look up here!
We can't hear
Please!
John.
22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, December 31st, 1999. Pennsylvania nuclear plant shut down. One of the 2 nuclear reactors at Pico Energy Co.'s Limerick Generating Station has shut down this morning after a piece of equipment failed. Company spokesman Neil McDermott said the problem was not Y2K related. It was declared an unusual event, the least serious emergency classification of a nuclear power plant. They got to have a serious emergency to shut down a plant, ladies and gentlemen. It was declared an unusual event. At 2:55 a.m., shutdown occurred when an insulator on the main generator transformer from Limerick 2 failed. We had reports yesterday of this. Off the record, I would not report it, but I had it from a good source that this plant was having problem along with 4 other plants. I may just go ahead and report it here.
Don't take your contacts off, buddy. Okay?
Why are you so rude to other freedom fighters?
I'm the one that got Darwin up here.
Hold on, no, we've been working with him. He came on our rodeo show too. On the Rise Up, that's okay. You should be empowering us, not stepping on us. You should be lifting us up.
We will never be slaves of the New World Order. We will never be slaves of the global
Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. He's stepping on new.
Pure diversion. Wow. That's guilty. If you're not, that's guilty. That's guilty. It's been, yeah. If you knew it, leave me alone then. We're the professionals that do it, baby.
You're going to wake people up. And you should celebrate the fact for being active. Is that what you have to say before you work?
I really appreciate Darwin Bedecker. I really pushing his arm to come to the protest on Monday to get him up here from San Antonio. And
you're not part of the team!
you like one-eyed, like Sauron. I go,
You have never had more solid evidence that Alex Jones is working for the bad guys than right here, right now. Because what he's doing, he's coming to a peaceful rally, he's trying to stir up violence, he's trying to take over our rally that a lot of people worked on. We've got people working on all levels, legally, trying to get the real story out, and he's just going to shout us down.
Hey ladies, the Second and First Amendment, get the hell out of my face!
I mean, I am nothing special, and my mind burns with discernment.
Look, you got a hard on for me.
And understanding and system, and it's indescribable. Yeah, America!
I don't care. It's not like it's some. I thought you said you didn't want to speak here. I thought you said you didn't want to speak here. You said you didn't want to speak here. I got you on video saying you didn't want to speak here today. No, I didn't want to speak at that event. I don't care.
And so we know from the Kennedy assassination and what Jim Garrison went through and what he wrote about, what they do. And they had people infiltrate the movement to expose JFK's assassination by the shadow government. And they would act normal for a few years and then suddenly announce they were Martians, or suddenly announce that they fingerprinted their daughter every morning to make sure it was still her, and, you know, all this craziness. So there's standard stuff that goes on. So let's not deny that we have infiltrators and attackers.
And to my parents, Mom, Dad, I miss you, and I want to come home. I'm coming home.
I noticed day one that the no planers for Tower 1 and 2 and that the space beamers would viciously attack anyone who didn't immediately agree with them and scream and yell at them and scream and yell at me and try to bully me and others, and then viciously try to discredit the key researchers that were getting things ready for peer review, which they did, the key researchers that were really on the trail that's now fleshed out with Kevin Ryan and all these other people, and Stephen Jones and yourself. I mean, this is bombshell with a thermite, and savagely. And then national TV kept giving them attention, kept giving and saying, and so now when I do a national TV appearance or I go on a national radio show, they say, oh, you're the group that thinks space beams did it, or you're the group that thinks there were no planes. And I would talk to these no planers, not their low-level, weak-minded people that follow them, but I would talk to the high-level, you know, the progenitors of it, and they would say, I'd say, well, listen, I had family that was in New York, and they saw the first plane, or they saw the second plane, or I had family friends going back to college who saw it, and they'd say, shut up, liar, you're probably just a fan. And I'm like, well, no, I mean, there was hundreds of cameras that, picked up at least the second plane. I mean, we can argue about where they painted up, like Northwood says, that the CIA switched planes, that's all legitimate. But I said, and they're, on and on and on and on and on, just viciously. So there's no credibility to that from what they're saying. So watching this from the inside and being fooled by some of the people, I built a lot of them up and gave them big platforms myself, and, in what ways I could. And it's become very clear, and other operations, everything that can be done to make the 9/11 truth look clownish.
And I've been very passionate today because I can't even keep track of all the developing news that's coming in. I'm not going to get into I'm not even going to say it's 6 to 7 reactors across the country. I'm not even going to. It's bad. Emergency classification of nuclear power plant. Well, it's got to be pretty bad for them to power a plant down.
Time is getting shorter until Y2K. If you want to be sure your family and loved ones weather the potential Y2K storm of delays, shortages, or interruptions of services, then now is the time to stock up on emergency supplies.
4,000 of them. Russians have got a lot more than that.
Right.
4,000 missiles coming in, subs launching, suitcases going off. We have to wait until we absorb the first strike that will mean virtual annihilation to our military brass. I know you're CFR. You've been told you'll be able to be in the bunker if they go to this level. I don't know if they'll do it. It may just be ratcheting down the global system. Many of the gas stations here in Austin have the little gloves over the pumps saying they're out of fuel. You never see this in Austin, Texas. Right here in South Austin, I've seen several stations. We don't know if this is just a Y2K that was here. Just bizarre behavior. Americans standing up as Russia threatens to attack us with nuclear weapons, as nuclear power plants, at least one, are being shut down. I mean, military traffic is everywhere right now, ladies and gentlemen. Scrambled. We've got superpower radar systems, nuclear systems up. Fresno, where our servers are located, is in the middle of a blackout, ladies and gentlemen. We're off the internet. This is just absolutely out of control. That's why the commercial stations are so important.
Then the progenitors of the no-plane hypothesis go out and say that 9/11 Truth bombed the Army, Navy, Marine Corps recruiting center in Times Square. They do everything they can, and we've also seen them coordinating with mainstream TV, and I've even seen the body language on the ground.
The radio show host and close friend of Charlie Sheen, the man he was talking to, Alex Jones. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Established, and then national TV kept giving him attention.
Joining Kimberly and me from Austin, Texas, the same town, incidentally, where a tax protester recently crashed his plane into the IRS building, is radio host and a leader of the 9/11 was an inside job movement, Alex Jones. Alex, welcome.
I went out to California to help him, and I know that it's wrong for them to be prodding him, yes, and demonizing him and trying to make him blow up. That's actually what I believe is going on here. They should all just shake hands, bury the hatchet, come together for the crew of 2.5 Men. I want and try to support Charlie, but also Chuck Lorre, everybody else.
And they come together to events, mainstream media with them. So there's no doubt this is a classic op. They've got a lot of mentally ill people and a lot of stragglers.
I mean, I am nothing special.
That, follow them, and a lot of weak-minded people, and there's some personality conflict going on as well. But in closing, that's not their big salvo. That salvo failed. And I want to report that to everybody. I've been analyzing it in depth. It has failed. The good news is that that is falling apart. The bad news is there is a concerted operation for the last 4 or 5 months from hundreds of quarters, from Skeptics Magazine to you name it, to people in our own, quote, movement. We'll operate a few years and then activate. That's how an operation works. They try to build cred, and usually no more than 18 months, generally 12 months, and they activate.
I'm coming home.
They're following a blueprint. And we have Army field manuals on this from other countries they've done it in. And most of them are former Army. It's not even hidden. Like, a lot of them are former PSYOPs. Like, oh, yeah, now I'm the truther. Oh, yeah, I'm PSYOPs. He was imploding. We've got super weapons. It's over for you. No, you terrorists that carried out attack. Your no planes, your space beams have failed. Announcements that 9/11 Truth failed. You didn't think we'd notice, operatives, those out there listening and monitoring, all activated 4 months ago?
Okay, Alex, that's pretty well put. Can you stand
and sabotage the Second Amendment? You are not going to get away with your activities. You are not going to get away.
Hey, ladies, the Second and First Amendment. Get the hell out of my face.
You're not part of the team. You're not part of the team.